and welcome to my channel, Distinctive Crochet. My name is Priscilla, and I want to thank all my new subscribers for coming by and checking me out, and for all my returning subscribers for spending some time with me. And if you have not subscribed, I want to thank you in advance for doing so, and also remember to hit that bell settings to all so you can be notified when I upload a new video, and that way you won't miss out on anything. So if you are noticing in my title, it says the shacket is done. Yay! I'm so excited. So either you guys are like, yes, show us that shacket, or you're like, what's a shacket? I want to see. Either way, guys, you will find out pretty soon. But first, I wanted to go ahead and talk about what I had made using the Lion brand Baby Soft Boucle yarn. I had done a haul on it, and I also did a review on it. And if you haven't seen those videos, check them out. I'll link them down below. So, what I made, I will actually show you a video clip of me wearing it because my mannequin doesn't really show it well. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the yarn in case you haven't seen those videos yet. I'm just going to reach over here and grab the yarn. So this is the yarn that I'm talking about. It's the Baby Soft Boucle, and so it has, let's see, it's 100% polyester, and the color name is Aqua. You get 120 yards, which is 109 meters. It's a 3.5 ounce or 100 gram ball, and this is considered a 5 bulky yarn. So that's the yarn there, and the color is showing up pretty true. It might be just a tad darker, and it's really soft, guys. I wanted to work with it right away, and just because it says baby yarn doesn't necessarily mean you have to use it for a baby. It just means that it's safe to use for a baby, or maybe it was intended, but either way, I buy what I like and I use it for what I like. So I wanted to use this yarn right away because the color is beautiful. Blue is my favorite color, but since I've been working with yarn, I've noticed I'm enjoying a lot of the colors. Before, I was just a blue girl, but now I enjoy mostly all colors. So anyway, so I really wanted to make something for the spring with this yarn because I really like the color. It's very vibrant and it reminds me of spring. So I used about 2.5 of these to make my project, and I used a letter, this is a MN hook, which is a 9mm hook. So I guess you could have, it might say a letter M or it might say a letter N, but it's a 9mm either way. So that's the hook size I used. And then I just used double crochet stitches for the whole project. When you're working with a yarn that's got a lot of texture like this, it's really nice just to use simple stitches, and that way the yarn shows, as opposed to trying to show off a fancy stitch pattern that probably will not show up because the yarn is so textured. So I just used all double crochets, and I used a really big hook, and that way it'd be nice and open and light for the spring. So I'm gonna go ahead and slip in a clip right now to show you what I made. Alright, so this is the shrug that I decided to make. I didn't follow a pattern, I just kind of made it up as I went along, and I'm using all double crochets. And then I have a little band around the waist with some extra rows of double crochets. And then in the front, I decided to go ahead and clasp it together close for a little more coverage. And to do that, I used a stitch marker that I had made. And the closure is a lobster clasp. So I just kind of linked it around and closed it with that. And so that's the shrug that I made. Okay, so now that you have seen that, I did just want to show you guys again this this is a stitch marker that I had made using I think they call them a lobster clasp, where they just open up You know, you just pull the thing and it opens and closes. And so all I did was to close, there's like a little loop there, and so I just opened it up and I just clamped, sorry, can't really see, I just clamped the lobster clasp on there, so kind of like makes a circle, and it just closes it, and it holds the shrug together closed, because I just like to feel covered up. So that's just a personal preference of mine. You don't have to close it up. And with my crochet, I've been noticing, especially with those ponchos I showed you guys the other day, I've been trying to figure out something to use other than a button that's specifically placed in a certain spot, because as the yarn stretches and you wear it and wash it, it might not fit as well in that same spot. So with the clasp, the stitch marker, you know, I can always put it in a different position to make it fit better, and you know, just things like that. So I've been trying to think of different things to use other than just putting a button in a specific spot, and that's how you close it every time. So I've been trying to come up with adjustable, that's what it is, adjustable closures. So if you guys have used anything at like an adjustable closure, please leave that in the comments below. I would like to hear your ideas and your thoughts if you've ever used anything like that, or if you would like to try maybe the stitch markers and things and some of the things that you have crocheted. Okay, so that was the first thing that I had made using the yarn. I did make something else, a wearable, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But before I do that, I want to show you guys the shacket. Yay! So that's next up. So, and you'll see why in a bit. Excuse me. So let me tell you a little bit about the yarn that I use first of all. So I'm just gonna reach and grab it. So the yarn that I used is the Red Heart with Love, and I have to tell you guys this, a little bit of a confession here. This is like one of the first yarns that I bought when I started stashing yarn. So I used to be one of those people that only bought yarn for the project. But then again, I only made like blankets, hats, and scarves. So I wasn't really like having always a project to do, because those items are kind of seasonal. So I only needed yarn for those things. But like I said in one of my earlier videos, once I started watching YouTube and being so inspired and learning that, you know, crochet is more than just hats, blankets, and scarves, I started to stash yarn because I wanted to be able to pick up a new project as soon as I had an idea. So this is one of the first yarns that I started to stash, and I was waiting on a perfect project. And so the colors that I use are like some of my favorite colors, and I thought this was the perfect project to use these colors for. It's a really cool project, and I'm excited to show you guys. And I also used I didn't even tell you guys the color. This is, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I want to say Jaded. Maybe you guys know. It's Jadeite. You're not gonna be able to see that on the camera, but let me just show you. Oh, you can see it. Jaded. Not sure. And this is, it's number 4, 100% acrylic. You get 198 grams, which is 7 ounces, 370 yards, which is 338 meters. Okay, so I think I used a whole skein of this and just a little bit more. And so the other color I used is the peacock color. And these are like some of my favorite colors, and I really liked how they went together. So I just used almost all of this one. There was just a little bit left. So that's what I used for the project. And I'm really excited about this project because how I found out about this project is a fellow YouTuber, and she is very creative, and I enjoy her channel. I came by her because she actually left a comment, and it was just something like nice work or something like that, and I hadn't seen her her thumbnail before, and I was like, let me check her out. So I went over to her channel and I saw her first video, and I just was, it was just like we just clicked. It was like, wow, all the things she's saying in her video, or most of the things, is like I could relate to, or I enjoyed, you know, doing some of the same things that she does. And it was just like, man, I can't wait till her next video came out. And when it did come out, that's when she showed her shacket. So I got this idea from my friend, hey girl, Angie, from Loving Every Stitch by Ruby Baby. And I'm not going to tell you too much about it because I want you guys to go over and check her video out, which I will link it down below. But I am going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to model it for you because it doesn't really show well on my mannequin. So I'm going to go ahead and put that video clip in here so you guys can finally find out what's a shacket. Okay, so here it goes, guys. Alright, so here is my shacket, and it stands for Triangle Shawl Jacket. How awesome idea is this, guys? I believe this came out so beautiful with the colors, some of my favorite colors, and it's nice and oversized, which is kind of my style. I like things to be big and comfortable, where I can have lots of coverage and stay nice and warm. And so I really like how this came out, and I hope you enjoy the shacket. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that clip of me wearing the shacket, and now you can know a little bit more about what it is. And I wanted to tell you guys a little bit of a confession. I have not made that many projects with the granny stitch before. I have done a pattern using the granny squares, and that was like a different pattern than just the regular granny stitch. So it took me a while to get it started. And I was thinking, like, I didn't really want to watch a tutorial because I had done the poncho, the granny stitch poncho. So I was like, let me see if I can pull from that to get started with it. And I didn't want to look it up online. I was like, I could figure this out. So I just kept retrying. I pulled it out a few times, but then I finally got it. And I still don't even know if I did it right, but it looks good to me. So I feel like I did it right. So that was my little bit of a confession there. So I decided before I ended it off that I would just do some rows in the peacock color, and then also that way when I did the trim, it kind of blends and fades down into that main to the darker color. And so there's the sleeves on it there, and then you can't really see the back, but I showed you guys already. But then let's see, yep, there's the back. So it is quite long, and it's really comfortable. I've been wearing it already. It's very comfortable, and it's light, so it's not too heavy, because I also used the letter the 9mm hook that I used for the other project. I also used the 9mm hook for this as well, so that made the stitches nice and open, where I could wear it all in the springtime. And I just really like this. This was a really great idea. I had never made shawls before. I made two. I made two shawls, and I don't know if you guys would consider them shawls because they were actually corner to corner shawls. They came out really beautiful though. But those were the only ones I had ever made, and it was just in the triangle shape, so I called it a shawl. But technically this was my first one that I had made. So I was really excited, because I was so scared about, you know, not necessarily scared, but I just, the fact that shawls can, you know, adjust themselves sometimes and slip off and fall. I know there's shawl pins and things like that that you can purchase, but I still didn't want to make them. But now that the shacket is here, I will probably be making more. I'm not sure when, but I will always bring them to you guys so you can see them. And I just really like the idea of this. And in fact, I like this so much, I made another one. So I made the second one out of, you guessed it guys, that baby soft boucle. And I used this color, which is the coral, and I paired it up with the lemonade. I thought those two colors went really well together, and I wanted to make one out of this. So once I had it down packed with this, I went ahead and made one with this yarn, and it came out really, really beautiful. I didn't want to make it quite as big as this one because this yarn is a little bit thicker, and I still wanted to be able to wear it in the spring. So I just did it really, really simple, guys. And I'm going to pop in the clip here of me wearing it so you can go ahead and check that out. And here is my second shacket, and I decided to go ahead and close this one using the stitch marker in the front as well. And I really like how those colors and stripes came together. It's really nice and light, even though it's with that thicker yarn. And I didn't make a sleeve on that. I just wanted to be able to poke my arms through and make sure it was secure and safe. Okay guys, and I'm back. So as you can see in the video, it's a lot shorter than the other one that I had made, and I did that intentionally because I really wanted to be able to wear it later in the spring when it starts to warm up, and then maybe even in the summertime. I really liked how the colors worked out together, and I plan on wearing it quite a bit. I don't think I mentioned how many I used of each. So I used 2 of the coral color, and then I used 1 skein of the lemonade color, and I also used my letter N or 9mm hook. I really liked how the stitches were nice and open when I used the larger hook, and also it's easier to work with this kind of yarn using that larger hook. So I went ahead and did that. And so this is I might also use this stitch marker to close it up in the front. That's how I had it on in the video. And then in the back, as you can see, it's not that long, because then there's the tip right there. So I do see some more shackets in my future. I'm not sure when, because I do have a couple more ideas rolling around in my head. And for some reason, it's another granny project, another granny stitch. And I'll tell you more about that when I finish that project. But I really hope you guys enjoyed what I made, and I really hope you enjoy the shacket. So if you haven't heard of it, and if you haven't made one yet or started one, I would encourage you to do so. And I'm going to leave Angie's channel down below, which is Loving Every Stitch by Ruby Baby, so that you guys can go ahead and check it out and see exactly what you need to do to make one of these beautiful shackets. So thanks again for coming by and hanging out, spending some time with me. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, you can leave those in the comments below. And I thank you again, and I will see you in the next one.